Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be answering a very popular question, and that is, why is everyone moving to Asheville? Before I answer that question though, let's go and make one of my all-time favorite breakfasts, a blueberry swirl protein smoothie. I love smoothies because they're so quick, so easy, really great way to get in protein. This one is called Blueberry Swirl, and it's from the Eat Smart cookbook by Naomi Smart. She's a YouTuber that I followed for many years. This cookbook is probably like 8 or 9 years old at this point, and I use it very often, almost weekly, but definitely very often. So in this recipe, there is blueberry, rolled oats, almond butter, almond milk, blueberries, and I add some other ingredients too, so let's dive right in. The first thing I'm going to add is half of a banana. I have pre-frozen banana here. I really just often use like 3 or 4 pieces that are like 1 inch long. Next up, I'm gonna add some blueberries. So these are the organic wild blueberries from Whole Foods. I've bought plenty of other types of frozen blueberries, but the wild ones I find are super flavorful, and I've heard that they have a greater or a better nutrient profile than traditional. So I just add about maybe quarter, half a cup, somewhere around there. Next up, I'm gonna go in with some oat milk. She calls for almond milk, but like I said, with smoothies, you can really just modify as you desire. After that, I'm gonna go in with roughly a quarter cup of some rolled oats. Again, I'm just guesstimating this. I just kind of pour it in until it looks right, but you can, of course, measure it out. Next up, I'm gonna go in with my protein powder. As you guys may or may not know, I typically use the Orgain Sport Protein, but in today's video, I'm actually going to be using EarthChimp. So this video is not sponsored by them. However, they did gift me a bag of their protein powder, and I've tried it a few times since they sent it to me, and I really, really love it. If you guys are interested, I'll leave a link in the description box below. Again, not sponsored, however, they did gift this to me. I specifically got the vanilla flavor of the EarthChimp to compare it to the vanilla Orgain. And I will say this one does taste more vanilla-y, so if you maybe don't like vanilla flavor, they do also have chocolate or just plain unsweetened. When you compare the ingredients of both protein powders, I actually found the EarthChimp ingredients to be a lot better. So the Orgain brand does use different types of gums, which I know aren't necessarily the best for you, and EarthChimp actually does not use any gums. In addition to that, they also have probiotics and digestive enzymes within their protein powder, which I don't think I've ever seen in any brand before. So I'll read you a little bit of the back here. So it is plant-based, it's vegan, there are 1 billion CFU probiotics per serving, made with organic fruits. It's a small vegan company, made in Ireland actually. No added sugar, no added salt, no GMO, no added erythritol, no gums, no gluten, no soy, no dairy. Basically, this is a really good product, and like I said, I've had it a few times before over the past couple weeks, and it's really good. So if you guys want to try it, I highly recommend it. In terms of price, it is a tiny, tiny bit higher than the Orgain Sport, but honestly, with the better ingredients, I think that that's well worth it. So let's go ahead and finish making the smoothie. Oh, something I want to add too is that if you do 2 scoops of this protein powder, that is 20 grams of protein. So really good amount to start off your morning. Personally, I typically just add 1 scoop. So I'm just going to do 1 of that. And then I'm going to go in with my collagen. This is the brand that I use all the time, Vital Proteins, just plain collagen, so 1 scoop of that. Then I'm going to go in with some maca powder. I just do roughly a teaspoon. Then I also add some ground flax. This is really good for getting your fiber in. Also going to go in with a little bit of almond butter. I would say, roughly like a tablespoon. I'm also going to add in just a tiny bit of cinnamon. I heard from an acupuncturist last year actually that With your breakfast, it's good to have something warming. So if you're not actually having a warm or hot breakfast, if you tend to go for smoothies like myself or maybe yogurt, adding a little bit of cinnamon can up your digestion. So I've been kind of adding that into a lot of my smoothies lately. So that is everything that I add to this. It's a pretty hefty size smoothie because I've added a lot more ingredients. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more oat milk just to make it blend a little bit easier. All right, let's blend that up. All right, I am back, got my smoothie, just had a taste of it and it tastes so good. Honestly, I would say it's pretty similar to like a blueberry oatmeal muffin. It tastes pretty similar to that. So I'm gonna sip on this a little bit throughout the video, but let's dive into why everyone is moving to Asheville. I came up with 5 different reasons why I think people are moving here. However, I do realize that this question can be a little bit subjective. Number 1, very simply, is the weather. Here around Asheville, we have pretty moderate seasons, but we definitely do get all 4 seasons. So I should also add in here that a lot of people that are moving to Asheville are coming from places like California, Colorado, Texas, and Florida. Of course, we have people moving from other states as well, but those are definitely the most popular states where I see people moving from. I know Texas this year has had a huge problem with very, very hot days, and consequently I've had more people from Texas reach out to me this year because they just can't take the heat. They want to be able to go outside and not have it be 100+ degrees. Also last year and the year before, when a few hurricanes hit Florida, I noticed that right after those hurricanes hit, some people would reach out and say, look, I am just over hurricanes. I just don't want to have to deal with this anymore. I just want to get out and move to Asheville. So weather is definitely a motivating factor for a lot of people. Not only do we have pretty moderate temperatures here, but we also tend to be pretty protected from natural disasters. So by the time a hurricane hits us, it's really just a tropical storm. I never really hear about tornadoes around here. Earthquakes maybe a tiny bit, but like nothing that you're gonna find out in like California or out west. Let's see, what else? Generally, we tend to have a much wetter climate, so we tend to get a lot of rain. Currently, as I'm filming this video, we are actually in a drought, and there actually have been a couple fires around the Asheville, Hendersonville area going on at the moment. So that is not great. However, we are expecting rain tomorrow. Today is currently Thursday, so we're expecting rain tomorrow. So hopefully that rain does come. But generally, the weather around here is quite mild. We don't get, massive snowstorms like they do up in the Northeast. We have beautiful fall colors that people travel all over to come see. Summers are not that hot generally, especially compared to somewhere like Texas or Florida. We have a few days over 90, but nothing too crazy. Humidity also isn't that bad. I know some people will fight me on that. However, I grew up in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale area, and I lived down there, not in Fort Lauderdale, but just in Florida for over 20 years, and absolutely cannot stand anything over like 80 degrees, and I love the weather here. Humidity isn't that bad. I think that the reason I like it here and can handle some warmer days is because a lot of times in the mountains there's a breeze, or you could just jump in like a cold stream if you get too warm. The second reason is because there is an abundance of trails here. If you are a nature lover, you will have so many things to explore and do here. There are roughly 200 waterfalls in the western North Carolina region. There are just endless trails around here, honestly, so many trails, especially if you love longer, more difficult trails. However, there are some more easy or moderate ones, which tends to be what I go for. I'm not an avid hiker by any means, but there's so much opportunity to get out in nature, like I said, with waterfalls, with hiking. There's also fishing, kayaking, camping. There are just so many opportunities around here. If you've ever visited Asheville, I'm sure you already know this, especially just driving along the parkway. You could see the absolutely beautiful views of the mountains that surround Asheville. I've also found that Asheville draws a lot of people that are environmentally minded, so people that are very into holistic living, or environmental preservation, things like that. Some of you might know I actually have a degree in environmental science, and that was ultimately what I wanted to be doing. I'm currently a realtor. However, I am working on some plans to kind of mesh those two worlds together. Some of you guys know that I got my green designation earlier this year. I'm planning to film more content around that in the future, so think of things like non-toxic living, sustainable swaps, green homes, renewable energy, holistic remedies, self-sufficiency, homesteading, just basically everything that can encompass a holistic lifestyle. So if those topics interest you too, definitely hit that subscribe button so that you can follow along with me on this journey and learn more about a holistic lifestyle as well. The third reason why I believe people are choosing to move to Asheville is because of the large entrepreneurial community. So if you are a business owner, there are a lot of ways to connect with people around Asheville, find a sense of community, and really just grow your business with like-minded people. I have lived in a lot of different places up and down the East Coast, everywhere from a couple different places in Florida, Raleigh, North Carolina, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, back down here to Asheville. And out of all the places I have lived, I have truly found that Asheville is the best place for business owners. I feel like practically every week there is some sort of networking event, meetup, market, festival, some way for you to connect with other people and get the name of your business out there. In my industry as a realtor, I have often found that it can be very difficult to get a lot of positive feedback. So in other places that I lived, when people would hear that I'm a realtor, they would immediately not want to talk to me, just have a very negative attitude, and it would just be a very negative experience in general. But I found that here, when I say I'm a realtor or I talk about, business ideas, people are so receptive to it. And a lot of people here just are more creative too. So I'm jumping ahead a little bit to my fourth reason, but people here tend to be more creative. And so I feel like that just breeds an entrepreneurial community. So people really feed off of each other, give each other ideas and advice, and it's just a very growth-oriented community, I would say. So really great place for business owners, at least in my personal experience. The fourth reason is the food and art scene. So I know when I first moved to Asheville, this is kind of funny, when I first moved here, I actually created a spreadsheet and I would enter in, I think it was like the restaurant name, the type of food, if I went there, like what type of food I ordered and if I liked it. And I did this for breweries too, so like what type of beer I tried and if I liked it or not. As you can tell, I love list making and planning and organizing. I've always been that type of person. But after like a month, I stopped that spreadsheet because it was, first of all, way too much work, and what was even the point of that? I don't know. Honestly, the restaurants around here have made it a little bit tough when traveling now, because I find when I travel to other places, I'm a little bit disappointed in the food because I'm like, that's fine, but I like such and such in Asheville better. There are a lot of award-winning restaurants. Overall though, I would say the food scene here definitely brings a lot of people, both chefs and also just consumers who really just appreciate great food. I might as well throw in here too that if you're a beer lover, Asheville, I believe the statistic is, has the largest beer per capita, or like beer per block per person, or I don't know, there's some statistic around that. If I can find it, I'll just write it on the screen. Basically, we're like beer city. So if you love beer, Asheville is a great place. We do personally have a lot of good beers, I will say. So food scene, definitely a big draw for a lot of people. The art scene as well. There are a lot of super talented people that come to Asheville. If you just walk around any of the galleries around the River Arts District, you will see this right away, that there are a lot of talented people here. In addition to those permanent galleries in the River Arts District, we also have the Museum of Art, there's the Folk Art Center, there's just a lot of other areas where you can enjoy art. There are also some seasonal events. Of course, you have your typical art festivals in like the spring and fall. Pretty much, I'd say most towns around here have some sort of art festival. So food and art scene, definitely a big draw for a lot of people. Last but not least on my list is Asheville's distance to Florida. Now, I realize that might sound a little bit weird, especially if you are someone that doesn't live in Florida or has never lived in Florida, but I can tell you from personal experience, having grown up in Florida, like I said, for like 20 years, and currently working as a realtor here, I have so many people that reach out to me from Florida because they want either a vacation home in the mountains, they want to retire up here in the mountains, they just want to move up here permanently because Florida is too hot or too flat and there's more opportunity up here. I would say from most places in Florida, you can drive to Asheville in a day. So that is definitely a large draw for a lot of people. Well, that wraps up my 5 reasons why people are moving to Asheville. I also want to add in here that I'm very aware that this video might kind of put Asheville on a pedestal and make it seem like Asheville is this wonderful place with no problems at all, though I do acknowledge that there are some aspects about this area that might push people away or deter them from moving here. A couple examples might be cost of living. So, of course, if you're coming from somewhere like California or Colorado, possibly even Florida, depending on where, or even Texas, I suppose, you know, the cost of living here might seem relatively low, but if you're moving from somewhere like maybe South Carolina or, I don't know, the Midwest or something, then cost of living here might seem a little bit high. So that might be a deterrent for some people. Additionally, it can be a little bit harder to find jobs. I did mention earlier that Asheville does tend to be more of an entrepreneurial and creative community. So if you are coming here looking for a more traditional office type job, there's a possibility it'll be a little bit harder for you to find the opportunity that you're looking for. That doesn't mean it's not out there, but it might just be harder to find, or the pay might be less than what you're looking for. I know a lot of people like to talk about how the service jobs around here just aren't paying enough to keep up with the cost of living. So those are just some things to keep in mind. Just wanted to kind of add those in there at the end. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely hit that like button. Also, if you are looking forward to more content on sustainability, self-sufficiency, non-toxic and holistic living, definitely leave me a comment down below and let me know. I am really excited to dive into those topics with you. Of course, going to continue doing Asheville content and real estate content as well. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. Hit the subscribe button, like button, leave me a comment, share this video, do all that good stuff, and I will see you very soon in the next one.